Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really fun, but absolutely crucial. We are translating the hidden, emotionally loaded language of cats. You know, when your cat does all those quirky little things around you, you probably just think it's adorable behavior. But right behind that sweetness is a deeply complex communication system. And we're going to kick things off with a bit of a harsh truth. Most owners are accidentally breaking their cat's trust, simply because we're misreading their everyday signals.
So I really want you to ask yourself for a second, do you actually know what your cat is saying? We spend literally years living with these incredible animals, yet so many of us are just completely blind to the subtle, purposeful ways they're trying to reach out to us. And if we misread them, we're missing out on these beautiful moments of deep connection. Well, today, we're going to fix that.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover the vulnerability of eyes, warnings before a strike, how they claim you as theirs, greetings and secret vocals, and finally, the ultimate trust test.
All right, Section 1, the vulnerability of eyes and decoding that famous slow blink.
Okay, so we need to completely reframe something you've probably seen a million times, the slow blink. For a creature that's wired to be both predator and prey, closing their eyes is a huge, high-stakes gamble. Just think about how a cat is actually built. Yes, they are fierce little predators, but they're also small enough to be prey for a hawk or a coyote. Their entire nervous system operates on one strict rule: keep watch. Always track threats and know where the exits are. So when your cat actively chooses to hold your gaze and lets their eyes fall shut, just really slow and soft, that is not boredom. They are quite literally saying, out of everything in this room that could hurt me, I trust you. It is a massive gesture.
And hey, science absolutely backs this up. This isn't just us pet owners projecting human emotions onto our furballs. Researchers at the University of Sussex ran this fascinating study, proving you can actually initiate this conversation of trust with your cat. They found that if you just relax your face and slow blink at a cat, they will significantly slow blink right back at you. And even cooler, cats are way more likely to approach an unfamiliar hand right after this exchange. It proves this is a genuine two-way signal. It is literally the closest thing to an I love you that your cat has in its toolkit.
Moving on to Section 2, warnings before the strike, or, as I like to call it, the attack countdown. To bust the whole myth of the unpredictable cat bite, we have got to stop applying dog logic to cats, because man, that gets us into so much trouble. We completely misinterpret their tail movements. You see a swishing tail on a dog and that means, hey, come over and say hi. But in a cat, a hard thrash or a sharp thump against the floor means the exact opposite. For a cat, that tail is a pressure gauge. The faster it moves, the closer they are to being entirely done with the interaction.
Seriously, if you want to stop getting scratched, you need to memorize these 3 exact signals because they almost always stack up in this exact order. Step 1 is the tail thrash. The pressure is rising. Step 2 is what people cutely call airplane ears, where they rotate back and flatten against the skull. But listen, this isn't cute. Your cat is bracing and getting physically ready for a fight they'd rather not have, pinning their ears down so they don't get hurt. And step 3 is the scariest one, the freeze. Everything goes totally still. The tail stops, the body locks up tight. People dangerously mistake this half second of stillness for calmness, and they reach right in. But make no mistake, that is the predator lock right before the spring. If you see these signs, stop whatever your hand is doing. They're trusting you to listen.
Okay, Section 3, claiming you as theirs with the classic headbutt.
Has your cat ever marched right up to you and just bonked their forehead into your hand or face? Well, to understand this, we have to look at their biology. Cats have these scent glands densely packed right into their cheeks, their chin, and the sides of their forehead. When they rub these very specific spots on you, they aren't just being affectionately needy. They are leaving an invisible signature and mapping their territory through smell. Smell is exactly how they tell what's safe from what's strange.
What this really means is that a headbutt is not just a request for some nice pets. When they mix their smell with yours, they are actually writing you into their family scent. We love to joke that we're just their staff because we buy the kibble and clean the litter box right, but in your cat's mind, the claiming actually runs the other way. You are not their staff, you are their person, marked and accounted for. It's this beautiful, quiet declaration that folds you right into their tiny inner circle of things worth protecting.
Let's jump over to Section 4, greetings and secret vocals.
Did you know that adult cats go almost completely silent with each other? It's true. Once they leave kittenhood, they rely almost entirely on scent and body language to talk to other cats. That means every chirp, every trill, every single meow is a custom-built vocabulary aimed directly at you. They literally invented this vocal language specifically for us, mainly because we are totally hopeless at picking up on their subtle scent cues. So when your cat looks dead at you and lets out a meow, that is a direct line. They expect you, specifically, to answer them.
And this extends to physical greetings too, like the famous tail-up greeting. Researchers Kafatsu and Natoli found that this friendly, flagpole-like tail posture starts in kittenhood as a way to greet their mother. But here's the really fascinating part. The solitary, wild ancestors of the house cat, they don't really use this signal. It evolved specifically in domestic cats as they started living alongside us humans. It's a highly visible flag that practically shouts, "I come in peace." When your cat greets you at the door with this, even before you've touched the food bowl, they are showing you a piece of social language developed entirely to say they are genuinely thrilled you just walked in. And that brings us to Section 5, our grand finale, the ultimate trust test, the belly roll.
We've reached the climax of this explainer. What is the single sign almost every single owner gets completely backwards? It is the one moment where we humans accidentally throw a cat's deepest trust right back in their face. Yep, the belly roll. Your cat rolls onto their back, exposes that incredibly soft belly, and just looks up at you. Now think back to the slow blink and what it costs a wild animal to let their guard down. A cat's stomach has absolutely zero armor. All their vital organs are sitting right there under the surface. Exposing it is the absolute last thing a cat would ever do in the wild near something they thought was dangerous.
So you can see why this is a massive communication breakdown. The human interpretation is always, "Oh, please scratch my fluffy tummy." But the cat's actual message is this profound confession, "You are the safest thing in my entire world." When they flop over like that, it is a confession of absolute safety, not an invitation for a belly rub. And this is exactly why reaching in to touch it almost instantly triggers their defensive instincts. They show you total trust, and you reply by grabbing the exact spot their biology instinctively protects.
To put it bluntly, you are handed the absolute deepest trust a cat has to offer, and you reach right past the message to grab the messenger. Now sure, there are rare exceptions. Some cats have built up years of trust and have somehow learned to love a good belly rub, but they are totally the exception, for sure, not the rule. So unless your cat has explicitly taught you otherwise, honor this massive gesture. Just look at them, maybe talk to them softly, rest your hand gently on their head or cheek, and leave the belly alone. So we have decoded the eyes, the tail, the scent markers, and that ultimate trust test. Now that you know their secret language, ask yourself, are you still going to talk over your cat, or are you finally ready to listen? Take this knowledge, start paying close attention to the real signals they're sending, and just watch how much stronger your bond with your cat becomes. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.